Hi, welcome back. This is number 3, video 3 in our make and craft series for making holiday gifts, or things that go along with holiday gifts and that sort of thing. So today I'm going to show you how to take your junk mail catalogs and make these flowers. I love them. I had to send a gift to somebody, and I haven't bought any wrapping paper yet, and I don't have. Anyway, it's a ridiculously long story. So I decided I would make some gift wrap, and so I jolly printed on some paper and this and that, and then I realized I don't know about you, but I didn't want to use my expensive ribbon on a bow. So I made one of these, and I made it out of, okay, ready to see what I made it out of? I don't like to talk about big box stores, but I get this in the mail, and this is what I made it out of. I made it out of a Costco magazine, okay? And so I made this whole thing out of a Costco magazine, all these bits and pieces. And I did it a couple of different ways, and I'm going to show you how. I did it using some punches, and then I did it cutting them freehand, and because I get a lot of comments, because I actually do have a die cutting machine, but I get a lot of comments and a lot of requests saying, like, I don't have that. Can you show me how to do it without that, or that sort of thing. So here we go. We're gonna have a go at it and hopefully enjoy ourselves. So the first thing that I tried to do was I did them with punches, and I made this little card, and I'm in the process of making another one to mail out to someone, and hopefully I'll show you tomorrow when I finish the card what it looks like. So what I did was I took this punch, which is a 1-inch scallop punch, and this one, which is the tiniest punch ever. I can't even tell you what the number is on it. This one's a Recollections punch, and I'm gonna say it's probably 1/4 of an inch. And I made these little tiny flowers. So I don't know if you can see them. That's what I made, and I made it out of just these advertising bits, and it was just an ad. So I made these little tiny flowers, and I put them on the side of a card, and I'm going to show you how to make your own holiday cards tomorrow, and with just what you have in your house. So you don't have to go out and buy any big paper. You don't have to go out and buy anything. You do have to have some glue. You have to have some paper and some glue, and you can do it with junk mail. I made some using junk mail, and I made some out of other stuff that I had. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to punch out. If you're going to use a punch, you're going to punch out. I think that they look better with more. So I think each one has maybe 6 or 8. But you can, and I like the variations. Like if you look at these, here I'm going to zoom in on that. If I suddenly have like a crazy screaming attack, it's because the cat, I told you guys about the cat and the mouse and how we let the mouse go yesterday. Well, she's stalking something, and I'm afraid it is another mouse, and it's just me. I'm not mouse phobic or anything, but so let me see, where am I? Okay, so I like it with the variations. So I'm going to show you one with variations, and then we'll make some hand cut ones and do some fun stuff. Okay, so what I did with mine is some of these have the little bitty ones and some of them don't. So let's make one without the little bitty ones, and then I will cut up some little bitty ones and we'll add them to it. Okay, so this is what I've used. Now I have my very handy dandy tool here, my push pin, right? That's my exciting tool that I use. Or you can use, someone gave me these little tiny brads. Okay, I don't know if you can see them. They're made by Stampin' Up, and I thought I had the lid here so I could tell you exactly what it was, but I obviously don't. So I've been using these little Stampin' Up brads. Okay, I don't scrapbook. I smash book and I journal. I don't really scrapbook, and I definitely don't, I make cards, but they're not with, anyway. So I'm just using the brad, and I'm pushing them through the pieces of paper. So I'm going to do, since I don't have any small ones to scrunch up in the middle, I'm going to do, instead of doing 6 or 8, I'm going to do like 10. And we'll decide if we like it, 10 or 12. So I don't know what you guys were up to today, but I had a very eventful day as always. There's always a lot of event going on in my house. I don't know about yours. And my 10-year-old lost a tooth last night, and we put it in a baggie and she put it under her pillow, and when the tooth fairy went to leave her some money, the tooth fairy could not find the tooth. She sleeps in this amazing loft bed, and I have to even climb up on a chair to get under her pillow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do like 3 more. So I had to climb up on a chair. First of all, I had to wait till she went to sleep, and for whatever reason, she decided she wasn't sleeping last night. And I had to climb up on a ladder, like a chair, to get in there. And I couldn't find the tooth, so I left the money. So the tooth fairy, not me, no, the tooth fairy left the money. Now all I'm going to do is open the brad in the back. These are super tiny, tiny brads. I will look for the lid of them. They're like, can you see how tiny they are? They are like so tiny. They're super tiny. So now all you're going to do is, excuse me, all you're going to do is scrunch them up. And you have to do them one at a time. I've done them a lot of different ways. They're better scrunched up, one at a time. So back to the tooth fairy story. So the tooth fairy climbed on top of the chair and couldn't find the tooth and decided it was good enough. And then the whole day has been about, why do you think the tooth fairy didn't take my tooth? Why wouldn't the tooth fairy take my? It's been pretty comical, and it's been a fun day though. We still have not put up our holiday tree. That was a topic of conversation, but I think I've explained to you guys before that living here in the tropics, it is so warm that it's hard for me to feel like I'm in the... I guess it wouldn't be if I was born and raised here, but anyway. What's fun about this is I know that each and every one of you get that type of catalog in your mailbox, and I don't know what you guys do with yours. I've made all kinds of things with mine, but I'm enjoying making these flowers that I'm going to put in my holiday goodies, my holiday cards or whatever I'm going to make. I used to send tons and tons of holiday cards. Now I really only send them to my friends' children. Okay, that was one with about 12 in it, and it's fairly full. Okay? And it just has the little brad on the back. Now what I've done to some of these, let me find one that I've done them to, is I have, here we go. I took a stuffing box because I save all of my packaging, and I just poked a hole with the thumbtack and I put it on the back because I thought maybe I'll double-sided tape it, or I don't know how I'm going to adhere it. The one that I mailed out in the package that I did to my friend, I actually, you're going to think this is a little crazy, but I actually sewed it onto a piece of felt, and I put a safety pin on the back so that she could take it off and wear it as a brooch. And it was just a paper flower made from a recycled flyer. Okay, so we did the little one. So you see how cute these are? Now, you could make these as embellished paper clips. You could put these as your paper clips, put them on the front of your junk journals, your smash books. You could include them in some happy mail for a friend. You could probably even make, if you made them just a tiny bit smaller, you could make earrings out of them. Or even make a brooch. I mean, the possibilities are endless with paper flowers. Okay, that's the little one. let's see, if we want to do another little one, let me see if I can find some. Let's see, we have these already done. And what's neat about it is you can punch out, like if you're looking for a specific color of something, you can punch out a bunch of different colors of something you're looking, and it doesn't matter. Don't even worry about the words because you don't even see them. Okay. These are so tiny. Okay. So I still have not decided what I am going to make for my holiday gifts yet. I have not decided at all. I thought that I had it down. I was going to make my middle daughter a backpack because she had this tiny backpack that she's had forever and she loves it, but it broke, and then I tried to repair it, and so on and so forth, and it was just, it didn't quite work out. I mean, I repaired it, but the way she was using it, it was a man-made, like a fake leather. The one thing with these super tiny ones is, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them all together and poke a hole through them with my push pin. One thing with these super tiny ones is they are so tiny that it is ridiculous how tiny they are. So if you guys haven't watched my video from yesterday, it was about making journal charms, and I'm doing a giveaway over there, and the giveaway is good until the 10th. So it's a fun, if you guys, it's a take on my tin can earrings, but it's making tin can journal charms, and I have to say, I think they came out fairly good. I was very happy with them. Okay, I did it earlier. I made one of these with something earlier. I guess I'm going to have to put them on one at a time. They're so teeny tiny. So for those of you that don't have any dies, I'm going to do one next without any dies. And then you guys can see. It's so easy. Remember when you were a kid and you made those paper snowflakes? I don't know if any of you guys did that, but we did. And it's kind of like that. And if you're making them out of magazine bits, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I've successfully gotten 3 or 4, and you can see it really doesn't matter, and they're not. I don't think they're going to contribute. Maybe they would contribute to the well-being of this flower if they were a drastic shade different. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put this together, and we're going to scrunch it up. And this one doesn't have very many layers. It has like 5 or 6 of those super tiny ones, and then it has it's 5 or 6 of those super tiny ones, and it has 5 or 6 of these bigger ones. I think you would need, in order to make it really worth your while using these super tiny ones, I think you would just need the next size up. I think that they're too small for this little flower project. Now you can use any kind of brads for this project. You don't have to use, I happen to have a friend who was so sweet and sent me all these things, because where I am, we don't have all that here. And if we do, if we get any of it, it's like so overpriced that you just don't want to spend the money on it. So she sent me a whole bunch of little brads and kind of fun things like that, which I appreciated. Okay, I don't think the little bit was worth it, and I think it's gonna look better if you do like these, which have like between 8 and 10 flowers. I don't think this one with only 4 or 5. How many was there? 6. I don't think it's as good. Or I mean, it's worth the trouble. But the cool thing about doing a brad is all I need to do is punch out like 5 or 6 more, and then we would be good to go. Now, this magazine paper is so thin. I didn't spray any of these. I have sprayed them before in the past with Glimmer Mist, which I really love. I don't know if any of you guys have Glimmer Mist, but I love that. But, I mean, it's not so bad with 5 or 6, but it definitely looks better with, I mean, here we go. This one has got like 12, right? This one's got like 12, and this one's got like 5 or 6, and this one's probably got about 8. So you get the kind of idea. Okay. Now, this is one, I'm going to move these tiny ones away. So this big one right here is one that I did with these 2 punches, okay? And it's the same principle. If we, I'm going to make some not with the punches first. What I did was I did a lot. I think I did like 6 or 8. I think I used 1 flyer. Maybe I used 2 pages of a flyer. I don't know. Well, here, let's just do it really quick, and then you can see. I like it better random, like the random paper of it all, but you can do it any way you want. 1, 2. These are big. So if anybody was like going to make it, you could make yourself, you could make somebody you knew getting married a paper bouquet with these. They would be so stunning. And if you used a larger brad, than these super tiny ones, you could then adhere the stems if you wanted to put stems on them, or maybe you glue them into a base. I don't know. I'd have to work that out. Maybe that'll be a project I do. I have a friend whose daughter's getting married. Maybe I'll make that for her as a gift. Okay, let's see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to do a few more. 6. I really enjoy the fact that you can use anything in it. It's like you can use up all these flyers and stuff that usually, for me, I've made paper beads out of them and stuff like that, but they're super thin. They're not like magazine quality. They're like, I don't know. I guess I should learn paperweight sizes. Okay, so that's 8 of those, and let me just do 8 of this smaller size. And so, I don't know. I've enjoyed my adventure in paper crafting, as I'm sure all of you do as well. But one thing I'm not crazy about is the priciness of some things. I mean, like, I see something and I'm like, oh, I would love to have that. And then I go look at it and it's like $1 trillion. Or somebody will tell me about something, oh, have you used this product? And I'll be mortified when I find out how much it costs. Well, the same goes for paper flowers. I love some of those Prima flowers are just gorgeous. But honestly, I'm not going to spend, or I don't feel like spending $8 or $10 on a package of flowers when I can make them out of my Costco flyers. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, obviously you can make them out of any kind of paper. You don't have to make them out of magazine pages or throwaway flyers, but you can make them out of anything. Okay, so let's go for this one. And we're going to put the smaller one, well, let's put the green one in the middle, why not? Alright, got my mess going on here. You don't ever really see the brad, so it doesn't matter, and you could use bigger ones, and I have bigger ones, I just, for whatever reason, just don't have them in front of me. Let me see. Did any of you ever, like, make a float when you were in high school? Like, how they had parades and different things, and I was in the marching band, and you always had to like be in the parade and all that stuff. Well, we used to make those floats, and we used to make paper flowers. Remember how we made them out of crepe paper? Well, I've made some of those lately, and those are just so fun. My littlest one is doing a project at school, and we needed to make flowers, and we had at school, and what the teacher had was crepe paper, so we jumped in and made some fun crepe paper flowers. It just reminded me of when I was a kid. And so this one's a fairly full flower. Now, I know I have on this desk somewhere in my mess, I know I do. I'm sorry, you guys. My mess, my tangents and my messes are just sometimes ridiculous. Well, I'll just do another one. I thought I punched, maybe I didn't punch any extra ones. So we made our crepe paper flowers. What else did we do? I'm trying to think of all the stuff we did. Now I'm just punching this out because it's going to be a fairly hefty flower, and it would be nice for me to be able to glue it down on, or whatever I'm going to do with it, or put it on a package with some tape or whatever. It would be nice to be able to do that. And without having the magazine paper break or whatever. Okay, so you see it on the back, and mine's not even perfect. So for all of you out there that are in perfection land, don't look. Okay, now I'll just scrunch it up. You know, my mom was the queen of paper flowers when I was growing up. Oh my goodness, she was amazing. Unfortunately, she has passed away several years ago, but I think about her and miss her every day, especially around the holidays. But she was the queen of paper flowers, and she was also the queen of, in my world, of course, and she was also the queen of clay flowers. She was an amazing potter and made some cool flowers. So I think this would be a mother-approved crafting moment. So just think about all the bows. Instead of buying expensive bows, make paper flowers. Instead of, you know, buying expensive embellishments for your journals, use your junk mail. I mean, you know, you can paint this stuff too. It's not like you have to use it just in the form that it comes in. You could spray, like I was mentioning, my glimmer mists and that sort of thing on it, and that works amazing. You could, there's all kinds of those mists, and I've made some of my own alcohol sprays. Okay, so I've got it all scrunched up, and now I'm going to open it back up. And if you don't like it, you start all over again, scrunching away until you get it to a point where you do. So, but I actually like it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I like it. And it's nice and full. And that was with a lot. That was with 16. That was with 8 medium ones and 8 large ones. And this is a very large punch. And I don't know. Somebody gave it to me, and I don't even know how big it is. I'm guessing it's like, all right, I'll tell you how big it is. It's like a 3-inch punch, and this one must be a 2-inch. Anyway, I'll measure them and put it in the description box below. All right, let's get to making our ones that you cut freehand. Okay, like I said, I like the random ones. I like the randomness of it all. So I am going to just... This is how it starts. Okay, so what I do is I take a piece of paper, you take a magazine page, and for no rhyme or reason, okay, take a magazine page and I folded it in half, and then I folded it again, and then I just cut it in half. Now, I'm not trying to purposefully position anything, so... You know, but you can if you want to be that exacting. I'm just not. I'm sort of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. Okay, so then I'm folding it again until you get to pieces that you like. Okay, so I'm gonna say like this looks pretty good. All right, so you're gonna do it just like you did your snowflakes. All right, so you're gonna fold this piece in half. Make sure I'm in the frame. Fold this piece in half. fold it in half again, and then where the four corner point where it meets, you don't want to cut that. You're going to fold the opposite end up, okay? And you don't, whatever you do, you don't want to cut this point because it'll just cut it apart and you won't have a flower, okay? So then you just want to start cutting your petals, and you can cut it any way you want, all right? And then you can see it when you open it up, and if you don't like it, refold it up. So that's one layer, okay? So I started my layers here. So that's one layer. Let me see, I had some, I don't know where they are. I'll just keep cutting. So and you can cut multiples at a time if you want, but I'm just showing you that you can cut it any way you want. Just make sure you don't cut, whatever you do, don't cut the point. I mean, you'll soon learn. And stack them up one on top of the other, okay? Now, you know, you can make if you wanted to cut up several at one time, if you wanted to cut several at one time, you can. You just don't want to cut that one piece off. So, you know, just stack them, like random stacking. Colors random. And keep folding until you want to do, I think they look better with more, so I've probably, I don't know, at least 10 petals, 10 flower bits. You might want to do more. Some of mine have more in it than that, so it was just until sometimes it was, oh, that one seems full enough, or, you know, and you just keep piling them on top of each other. And let's see. Like, that's such a weird picture. Like, you wouldn't necessarily use it in your journaling, right? But you could use it in this flower and you're never going to know. So, I'm sure there's many of you out there that are better flower makers or cutters or more experienced than me. You know, I haven't done it in years, and I'm not that invested in the proper way. I'm more invested in the fun part. You know, so just keep going through it until you get a bunch of pieces that you like. I would like a different color. I'm not crazy about that color one in the middle. Let me see if I can do a red one. Ooh, and there's an orange underneath it. So what are you guys going to, I know I keep talking about it, what do you put on your Christmas tree? What kind of decorations do you, I haven't talked about decorations, but I have been talking about Christmas, and it has been on my mind, and I'm sorry. So what have you guys, I would love it if you put in the comments below what special things you put on your Christmas tree. So when I was a kid, my mother, she was so amazing. I miss her so much. She is such a wonderful person. When I was a kid, my mother would let us choose whatever we wanted. And so when I had children, I did too. And my mother-in-law thought it was crazy because my oldest daughter, who's in her mid-20s now, one year just wanted candy on a tree. Of course, all little kids just want candy. So we put real candy, and we also made candy, like cool paper mache candy, cool candy that was made from, you know, polymer clay, I think, was huge back then, and I have a faint recollection that we were into that. Anyway, and, you know, then I also just went and got, like, all kinds of fun candies, and it was really fun, and she remembers it to this day. So this daughter, not this year, but a couple of years ago, maybe she was about 7 or 8, wanted a pink Christmas tree. Okay, can I tell you, I live in the middle of the tropics. I live in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. A pink Christmas tree was not likely to be found. And then believe it or not, they had one, and it was the tiniest Christmas tree ever. It was about, I don't know, 2 feet tall, but she was happy. Okay, so I'm just going to start and put my brad through. And it doesn't matter how you put it. It doesn't matter the rhyme or reason. I mean, obviously you want to do the gradation from smaller to larger. You know, you want your bigger petals in the back and your smaller ones in the front. But it is not so crucial, the color part. I like it better with all these random colors, but you know, if you like monochromatic or more, you know, more colors that go together, have at it. I'm not going to put a piece of cardboard. I might go back and do it later, but I'm not going to do it for demonstration's sake. So I've just opened up the back, and now I'm just going to start scrunching up my petals. These are probably not done the perfect petal way, but it was just however it worked for me. And that should give you some relief to know that you can do it any way you want to do it. And you don't need a punch, and you don't even really need a brad. I mean, you could, I made some paper flowers, I don't know, a couple of months ago for a lady. I made them out of newspaper. I was sending her this big thing, and I couldn't find, I moved my art space. So, you know, it was just me and my younger daughter, and because all my other kids were away, and the extra bedroom that we had was my studio space. And I'm a jeweler, and I do some glass work, and I kind of do a whole, I guess maybe, I think my sister said to me the other day she thinks that I have ADD, and because I'm always like doing something new. Anyway, so I had this chock-a-block full studio, okay? And then my daughter, as I told you, while I was moving to Europe, decided, she asked me if she could come and stay with me for a while. And you know, I know from my own fleeting time with my mom that I just really appreciated that. And my younger daughter just really misses her sisters. So I moved all my stuff out of my studio, and it's in my little dining room alcove, and it's a big, huge mess. And there you got my flower. What do you think? I kind of like it. I might go back and put a few more because it's not as full as these, but these are kind of overdone, right? These have like a gigundum amount, and this one looks like I kind of went to town on it too. But do you see how easy it is? I mean, it's so easy, anybody can do it. It's like not rocket science. Okay, let's do one black and white one before I let you guys go. Anyway, back to my brad story and not having brads. Okay, so I couldn't find, I had all my stuff packed up, and I had to move, got rid of all my dining room furniture and all kinds of stuff. Well, I'll put it in storage. Anyway, you guys, I repurpose old novels. You know me, I have to. I just can't help it. Anyway, especially when they're sitting in the, we have a bin at this little bookstore that I go to, and it's, you know, where they're going to throw them out if you don't. It's like to the end of the, you know what I mean? It's like to the end. They're not going to keep it. It's, for whatever reason, maybe the cover's broken or whatever. So anyway, back to my brad story. I definitely must have ADD. So I wanted to send her some newspaper flowers. I was really into making them, and I wanted to send them to her. And I couldn't find my brads. The big ones, the little ones, any ones in between. I couldn't find them. And so I took took my newspaper, and I went to the sewing machine, and I sewed the center of my flowers. Now, I will tell you that it worked out better when I put a little piece of a mailing package behind, especially if you're making newspaper, you know, like Tyvek. It worked much better if I did that than it did if I just sewed it. But I used my sewing machine. So if you don't have brads, sew it. I've also hand sewed them before. I made a lapel pin. One of my friends was getting married, and she didn't have a boutonniere for her husband. It was like, sometimes I don't know, with second marriages, you're not thinking about stuff like that. And it was at her wedding, and I made a paper flower out of their wedding programs, and somebody had a hand needle, and I sewed it together with a hand needle, okay? So, if you don't have to go out and buy all this stuff. Learn to make do with what you have. I think that's my favorite part of junk journaling is that, I love recycling and repurposing, but what I love most of all is that you can just do it with what you have right in your home. You can take a Costco magazine, right? The flyer, the throwaway flyer, make your paper flowers. You could make your pockets out of it. You guys have watched my tutorials with the pockets and the library pockets, and it wasn't because I sit around thinking about how I can remake everything. It was because I didn't want to spend any money on it. It was because I wanted to also because I live in the Hawaiian Islands, and where I live, it's not like I can just go down. We don't have, I can't just go down to Michael's or whatever. And we do have one little tiny craft store here. And when you go, things are so expensive. I mean, I would rather spend my money on really good paint or some amazing glue or some nice brushes or, even a dye. Even a dye before I would want to spend my money on stuff that I know that I can make myself. So I'm going to just put a couple of more pieces. Let me see. Can you see it in the frame? I'm going to put a couple more pieces of this flower here, and then I'm going to put it together. So don't feel intimidated when you see other people and they have these crazy, scrapbooking areas and stuff like that. And so what if you only have a TV tray? Be creative and do what makes you happy. It's really about the joy of life. It's not about the accumulation of things or whether you have a better, scrapbooking space or more product or look at all the dyes I have. And, it's not about that. It's about enjoying yourself. It's about finding your zen, finding your own creative space. So for me, that's what it's been. And, I have to tell you, I'm glad that I've never been a person that needed to keep up with anyone else. I mean, I can barely keep up with myself. I can't be bothered looking at somebody else. Okay, I need a couple more. I need a couple small petals, and then we're good to go. Let me cut this one in half. So... And you know what? If you do have all that stuff and you're happy with it, good for you. I mean, I'm happy for you if you do. But for all of you that are out there thinking, I can't do it, or I just need to go to the craft store and get that before I can try this, that's why I decided I would make videos. Because, sometimes I was like, I really want to know I want that, or I want to know how to do that, and I wouldn't find it, or I would create stuff out of my own junk, like literal junk, like you see me doing here. And a friend would come over and say, well, I know that's awesome. You should do a tutorial on that, or you should teach a class on that. And so I'm all about figuring it out with what you have. Okay, let's use a bright copper one. Well, let's use a black one. Now, think about this. If you took a book page and you did this, right, and you painted it, you could watercolor paint it. If you want to color, you could Zentangle on it. You could finger paint on it, jelly print on it. You could do all kinds of fun things on your book pages before you scrunched them up to become flowers. Isn't that cool? And you can see all my petals, none of them are perfect. And isn't that great? Makes them one of a kind. You could color on each one of them. You could draw on each one of them. You could doodle on each one of them. Okay, I'm just going to open the brad in the back. I'm going to scrunch these up. Now these are a heavier weight paper than what the throwaway magazine that came in the mail. And I know all of you have those magazines coming in your homes, so keep your shopping flyers. Keep your shopping flyers. So if I'm out of frame, you guys, I'm sorry. I got a new recording thing. My sweet, sweet, sweet beloved significant other went and got me a little camera, and I'm trying to teach myself how to use it, and he set it up for me, and okay, let me have to open this up. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, you know, that like there's no right or wrong, you know? Okay, what do you guys think? I actually can see the potential. I might want to try to find a novel with thinner pages, which is not what I usually do. I usually look for the ones with really thick pages because I like to jelly print on them. And I only get the ones that they're gonna, you know, that are like basically in the freebie bin or like so inexpensive. Well, thank you for joining me today for our fun, or my fun time with you, and I hope that all of you make these paper flowers out of your throwaway magazines, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to make. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what we're going to make tomorrow. I'm going to make these little birds. So I made these last year. I told you about the decorating of the tree, and last year we all in my house make an ornament to put on our tree. And because I had all these book pages from my various junk journal times, I made these. So I'm going to show you guys how to make these fun, whimsical birds that have been hanging in my window since last Christmas because my kids thought it was too much to put them away. They liked them hanging up. So I'm going to show you how to make these birds tomorrow. So stay tuned if you would like to learn how to make these birds. And if you go over and you like, and if you do follow the instructions on my video of the number 2 video, I'm giving away some journaling charms, and I'll show them to you really quick for those of you who haven't seen them. I'm giving away these journaling charms that I made, or you'll get one similar. I'm giving them away to 2 lucky subscribers and to 2 of their friends. So if you go over to that video and take a listen, maybe you'll be one if you'd like to win one of these journaling charms. Anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for spending your time with me, and I really appreciate it. And until tomorrow, take care. Aloha.